How many elegant savory and sweet tart recipes have you seen with puff pastry? Puff pastry produces a cloud-like buttery puffy crust used in tarts, strudels, pies, and the list goes on. Puff pastry is incredibly versatile. While the traditional, very time-consuming method of making a regular puff pastry requires at least 73 layers, so says Julia Child, I'm sharing a much simpler homemade version that, while not to French perfection, it certainly fits the bill for flavor and flake. Oh, I love the French, especially for their perfection of the puff pastry known as pâte feuilletée. The oldest known recipe of this fancy dough dates back to 14th century France. Puff pastry is a simple flour dough layer topped with a solid layer of fat like butter or shortening and then rolled and folded over and over. This technique is called lamination, as the continued folding and rolling of fat in the dough creates layers of flakiness. I'm not teaching you that today. Instead, we'll make a much easier version. Let's check it out. For the ingredients, you only need 4 plus water. They are all-purpose flour, water, granulated sugar, salt, and unsalted butter. Very cold is the key phrase in this simple recipe. There are 2 very important elements in this recipe that make it much easier than a traditional 73 plus layered version. One, we start with very small pieces of butter to speed up the lamination process. And 2, all of the ingredients, including the utensils, the paddle, and the bowl, are very, very cold. That's pretty much it. And then it's just mixing and rolling. We want to start by dicing 283 grams, which is 10 ounces or 2.5 sticks of unsalted butter. And you want to dice them into very small 1/4-inch pieces. And we're going to place that in the refrigerator. Measure out 240 grams, which is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And then we're gonna place that in the fridge. Whatever bowl and mixing utensil you intend to use to make the dough also needs to go into the fridge. I actually put mine in the freezer, but fridge is fine. And I'm using a stand mixer bowl and a paddle attachment. To make the liquid mix, to a cup, we're gonna add 118 milliliters of water, and that's a 1/2 cup. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon, which is 13 grams of sugar, granulated sugar, and I prefer super fine just because it dissolves very easily and quickly. If you can't find super fine sugar, it's okay. You can pulverize your regular sugar in a food processor or just go with whatever you have. That's fine too. And then we're gonna add 6 grams, which is 1 teaspoon of salt. And I prefer a finer salt for this, again, because we want the sugar and the salt to dissolve easily into our water. And then just give it a quick stir and stir it until it's dissolved. Once it's dissolved, just place it in the refrigerator until we're ready for it. The ingredients, bowl, and utensil that are in the fridge should remain there for at least 30 minutes to get very cold. You can prep and leave the ingredients, bowl, and utensils in their respective places for multiple days. Once very cold, we're gonna add the flour to the cold stand mixer bowl or whatever bowl you're using. And we're gonna add the small pieces of butter. Toss the butter with the flour so that each butter piece is dispersed and coated with the flour. All right, all of our pieces are covered. Okay, so with your cold paddle attached to the mixer, and your mixer on the machine, we're just going to beat this on low speed for 30 seconds just to break up the butter. Okay, so now with the machine on low, we're gonna pour in the water. This is the water, sugar, and salt mixture. And we're only gonna beat these for a couple of seconds because we just want the dough to come together in chunks, and then we're gonna turn off the machine. We don't wanna overmix the dough. We don't want to develop any gluten. We wanna keep those butter pieces in chunks. And that's it. Notice it's just a few seconds. So there we have it. Our butter is now in chunks. Go ahead and lightly flour a work surface, and then use your hands to remove the dough. We're gonna shape it into a rough rectangle. Keep your work surface and your rolling pin floured, and we're gonna roll this dough into a 12 by 18-inch rectangle. You're looking for a decent size rectangle, but it's not a big deal if you have a sort of unevenness in your rectangle. Just try to get it as good as a rectangle as you can get. Lift up your dough periodically and just make sure that it stays floured underneath. That way you can manipulate it as you need to while you're rolling it. All right, so that's my 12 by 18 rectangle. So now we're gonna fold it. This is where the lamination process starts, and you can see all the butter little pieces in our dough. So the lamination is the folding and the rolling. So we're gonna roll the top or bottom up a third of the way. So that's why we wanna make sure we keep our surface floured so that we can manipulate this dough and folding it. And then we're gonna take the bottom third and we're folding this like a letter. You're gonna take it up over the top section. Okay, and so now we have this sort of an envelope. And that's the bottom of your envelope that you've just sealed. Okay, so go ahead and flour. Make sure again that surface is well floured. So rotate the edge so that the big fold seam is on your left side. All right, and the envelope opening is on the right. So it sort of looks like a book. We would open it this way. So now we're going to roll this back out, mainly the edges, to get back to that 12 by 18 inch rectangle. So now take another short end, and we're going to do the same thing that we did before where we folded it into thirds like a letter. So fold one side down a third and then the other side up a third. So again, we have our envelope with the sealed end, so to speak, down here. Do the exact same thing. We're just going to rotate it around the board so that we have like our completely sealed side on the left and then our open side on the other. And then we're just going to do the exact same thing. Roll it out to another 12 by 18. The folding and the rolling is what gives the butter in the dough that flakiness when the dough bakes. So you're going to roll it out 3 times in the 12 by 18, and you're going to fold it 3 times. So that third time is right now for folding. If you find that your pastry is getting warm, particularly in the summer months during the folds and the rolls, you can place this in at whatever point you are in the rolling process. You can place it in the refrigerator until it firms up again and is cool. Okay, so we're going to take the dough now and wrap it in plastic. And you're going to place the dough in the fridge for at least an hour to firm up to overnight, up to 3 days. You can also freeze this dough and use it for whatever recipe you want. You just have to let it thaw before you use it. If you're going to store it in the fridge, just make sure that you store it in a sealed container or sealed plastic so that it doesn't get freeze or burn. This recipe makes a little more than the store-bought commercial version, so you can use it in any recipe that calls for a package of store-bought puff pastry. I like to use the homemade version in my French Galette des Rois. You can also use it for like my finished pinwheel cookies, following more of a traditional puff pastry crust. Puff pastry may seem intimidating, however, it really isn't. Keep in mind that this version is not a fancy, time-consuming French bakery version, but it works well in creating a buttery, puffy, flaky crust for your puff pastry needs. I hope you give this a try and use the dough in all sorts of your favorite sweet and savory pies, tarts, and appetizer recipes. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, go bake the world.